The Oregon Ducks hammered Oregon State as expected. Now it's time to look ahead to Penn State. Oh, but we got to wait for our next podcast to do that. We're going to still talk about what the Ducks look like against the Beavers and how that might translate to Happy Valley. Hello, I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian OregonLive. This is the Ducks Confidential Podcast. I'm joined as always by George Wrighster. George, I know you were working on Saturday. Did you get a chance to watch this game?
Yes. So I got a chance to watch it, but not in the order that I wanted to watch it.
Oh.
So I missed the opening kickoff and then the first touchdown and then their first drive. So I started getting in about the second quarter, and then I had to watch in pieces, go back and watch and all of this stuff because some of us have to work for a living.
And some of us
Saturdays
work for a living while watching the very game we're going to talk about. So I have an advantage. Anyway, all right, today's episode of the Ducks Confidential Podcast is brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, George, let's dive right into this with these three words. You go first.
I liked that.
Okay.
I liked
all right.
it. It was there, and we'll get into the things that I liked the most, but
sure.
I liked it. I left the game with basically nothing to complain about.
Okay. For me, it was finally it's over, or it's finally over, meaning the first 4 games of the season. Now we can get to some real football. No offense to Oklahoma State, Montana State, Oregon State, even Northwestern's in the conference at least, but these 4 games were foregone conclusions that the Ducks were going to win. Top 5 program against teams, struggling, rebuilding, what have you. So I'm just glad the 4 games are over, but at least they gave us something to look at to try and evaluate this team, which is a pretty new team, right? 18, 19 new starters. So, but thank God it's over. All right, the good and the terrible. What you got?
All right, the good was the defense. The defense absolutely in the pass game, which I want to see this secondary tested. Well,
I know.
They tried and they failed. So it was like good on Oregon. I mean, you can't on one hand you can say we want them tested, but then they tried them and it didn't work. So then you can't on the back end say, oh man, I can't wait to see them tested. So are you saying that you want to see people have success against them, or it's like the chicken and the egg thing?
Right.
So I would say that was the good. The great was, I would say the running game was much more efficient than it had been. That was really good. 6.1 yards a carry without having like an outlier like 50, 60, 80-yard run to distort the average.
Right.
That's actually really good. The bad. The bad to me was third down. They were 4 for 10 on third down. Didn't love that. And 1 for 2 on fourth down. So if there's anything to complain about, that's the only thing that you could complain about.
Okay, real quick, if anyone notices all the Pennsylvania-related stuff behind me, I got Donovan McNabb, I got Steelers, I got Julius Irving, I got Embiid and Maxey, got old school Steelers. It's just because I was on Penn Live's Penn State podcast, and so I just wanted to be user-friendly since I'm traveling there. And, I didn't want, to be viewed as a Ducks homer, so I'm like, hey, look, I recognize the greatness of Pennsylvania sports. So anyway, okay, so for me, the good, clearly Dante Moore was fantastic. I'm with you on the pass defense. We'll talk more about that when we grade the defense, but my God, like they completely dominated. Now, people can say, well, Oregon State isn't that good, but the one thing they've been doing well is slinging the rock.
Just throwing the
Malik
football,
Murphy's been, right. And to hold 5 of 18, 68 yards is just insane. My only nitpick for the terrible, the third down thing was interesting because the punter, James Ferguson Reynolds, got 2 punt. Well, they went out to punt 3 times, but he faked one, which we'll talk about later. But that wasn't great. And then, look, I'm nitpicking here, but the first drive, Oregon State going down and scoring. That didn't look good. Now they shut that down after that, but that coupled with the Northwestern couple drives here and there makes me a little leery for Penn State. But then at the same time, you're not. Let me finish. At the same time, you're not going to shut someone down for 4 quarters, right? I'm completely nitpicking. I get it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing is to watch them just go right down the field and score. You know, a little bit of nitpick there.
Well, one of the things that fans sometimes get frustrated about, and it is fair for you to point that out, but I just want to educate people a little bit on this.
The scripted plays?
Yes.
It's your best stuff, right?
Yes. Is that the beginning of the game is their best stuff.
Right.
Like their first 2 drives is basically already scripted out. It is things that they saw on film that they could maybe exploit, and it is things that Oregon has not seen them do yet. So They were able to have some success there. And when you know you have a good defense or when you know you have a good team is either when, number one, when they come out with those plays and maybe they score or move the ball, but then after that you start stoning them. After they get off the openers, that means your coaches are making good adjustments. Your players are making good adjustments. So I look at that more as a badge of honor than obviously you don't want to let them score, but I look at it as more of a badge of honor, what happens immediately after that, and then the next few drives, and then immediately after halftime too.
Yeah, you're 100%. Even back during the Mariota days, before and after even, there were so many games against mediocre competition where the other team scored first, right? It would be 7-0, yep. Ducks are down. No, number 2 Ducks down 7-0 to Tennessee, Texas, Abolition State or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be because, and the other team looked amazing. Like everything was just like crisp and just boom, boom, boom. And you're 100% right. It's scripted. They worked on it. They ran their best plays against, what they think is going to come, and everything's great. And then all of a sudden things shift and change, and then boom, it's over from there. So I'm with you. That's why I admit I'm nitpicking, but you know me. I got to find something. Yeah. All right, let's grade these bad boys. I got A- for offense, A- for defense, probably nitpicking there, and an A for special teams. Look. Again, it is what it is, right? They get A's across the board for a relatively easy test. What do you think?
I 100% agree with you. And even on even pump returns, you're looking at, okay, cool. Well, actually, no. Yeah. So the punting average was pretty good at 43.5. Pump returns were okay, averaging 10 and 15. And then, you know what? As an Oregon fan, you can kick field goals. I know that they were only 28 and 24 yards, but to actually feel good about Atticus Sappington is really good. And even when he tried the long field goal and missed, you were like, okay, it was online, on target. In the previous game, you're like, okay, we gotta. Is there a kicker in Eugene?
He definitely has a leg. Okay, so let's go back to the defense. We both gave him A's clearly, but the Malik Murphy thing and what we learned. So the number one thing, like I said, we want the secondary tested. The fact that, because Murphy was harassed a little bit, but there was plenty of opportunities where he had time. Right?
Yes.
So that
zero sacks.
Right. So the secondary clearly was doing its job. I didn't feel like there was a ton of there were a few guys who were open that he missed, maybe because he was rushing. Okay, there was one right down the middle where he saw it. He kind of moved to his left. He saw it. He panicked, didn't get his feet set where he could have set and slung it down there probably for a touchdown. So, that makes you wonder a little bit. But for the most part, the coverage was really sound. And so you have to give the secondary credit. But one more thing. But I still think that Saturday, even though you don't like Drew Aller that much, I still think that's going to be a different animal and that we're not going to see that type of secondary defensive success this week.
Okay. Now, it's funny because I know you were just on Penn State show, so I'm not sure the sentiment that they share. What was the sentiment that they were sharing about their team with you? Because what I've been talking to about Penn State people, they're kind of nervous about this team and their passing game. Like, of course, they're confident in the run game, but the pass game, they are sketchy on right now.
Yeah, no, that's the feeling for sure. I mean, everyone's been waiting, including the Penn Live guys, for Drew Aller to, to rise and shine. He's a senior now, right? And even last year, he had some nice plays against Oregon, but of course the two critical picks. But then in the playoffs, I don't think he threw for 200 yards in either the three playoff games. The run game and the defense carried them, and they almost beat Notre Dame in the semifinals, right? So what they've seen so far, they're not that impressed. Now the coaches are saying, well, we haven't unleashed him. He's playing better than they seem to be, et cetera, et cetera. But no, I agree. There's definitely a question mark there. But I do feel like, saying Penn State's going to do better than Oregon State isn't saying all that much. So
Correct.
I'm giving Oregon credit for what they did, but this is going to be different. And
be better. Yes,
right, and they're going to have a run game to feed off of, which Oregon State did not.
That should help the pass game.
Right, exactly. That's all I'm saying.
Now, an interesting note in the game is when you look at Oregon's stats, right? Bryce Betcher had 10 total tackles, but they didn't have any sacks, only 2 tackles for loss. But when you look at the amount of snaps, there was only 47 tackles recorded in the game. Only 47 total tackles, including only 13 solo tackles. So, number one, they're rallying to the ball. But number two, when you look at Oregon State had 86 total tackles, 42 solo. So that just shows the disparity in the amount of plays that they literally ran.
Right.
Like the amount of plays and then the plays that ended up in the end zone. So you had 41 points. So you had 5 touchdowns. And so you had 5 touchdowns. And then you had so you had 5 touchdowns, 2 field goals. So that's 7 plays that there weren't tackles on. So it's just crazy. But I do want to point out, bettors were not happy about this game, boy. Depending on the number that they bought it at, because Oregon was getting ready to score on the one drive, which would have pushed it above the spread, which was what, like
34 and a
depending on
half,
where you got it.
34 and a half? 34 and a half?
Yeah. 34 and a half, 35 and a half for the most part. So unless you bought it down, bro, this finished at 34, which is heartbreaking for, especially when there were times that they could have scored.
Yeah. No, well, unless you had the under, or if you had Oregon State plus the 34 and a half, you're like, hey.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And credit to Dan Lanning. They pulled the plug back. They didn't want to rub it in. I like that because you want to be nice, be courteous to your in-state rival, especially given the disparity in the two programs. Real quick also on the offense.
If this were Washington, that never would have happened.
Oh, yeah. Or if this were Oregon State 5 years ago, that never would have happened.
Yes.
All right, we gotta give Moore his flowers. He looked really sharp. 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. He threw some absolute BBs. Do I think he's gonna do that at Penn State? I don't know. We'll see. He's never really done that against a team of that caliber. Or even teams below that caliber. He hasn't really just shown that level of success against Power 4 teams at all, let alone a top 5 team on the road like this. But Duke can ball. We know that. And he also showed us something else that he hadn't really shown us in the first 3 games, and that was he can scoot. Now, we knew he could, but he wasn't doing it that often. This game, there were times when the Oregon State maybe had some things locked down in coverage, and he took off 53 yards. I think showing Penn State that, because the Penn Live guys were asking me, what's he like as a runner? I'm like, dude can move. Just because he hasn't, just because he doesn't. He's a true pocket passer. Reminds me sort of my boy Caleb Williams for the Bears, who lit it up Dallas the other day. He's not a guy who tries to be he did. He's not they have the same kind of arm. But anyway, that's credit. That's giving praise to Dante. But anyway, they're not guys who look to be runners, but when nothing's there, they can make plays, and we saw that on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're just pissed
really
about
happy
Caleb.
You're
just pissed about
Bears
Caleb.
win.
He's leading the league in touchdown passes. Give him some credit. No? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that was a really good game. That is what you're supposed to do against terrible teams. Is exactly what you're supposed to do.
All right, your feelings on Mr. Moore.
I expected this. Like I can't say I'm pleased because this is what I expected. Like, so I guess I am pleased because I got what I expected. If you go to your favorite restaurant and you love the tacos and you get great tacos for the 50th straight time, are you going to be like, oh my God, these tacos are great? No, you expected great tacos. So you're like, okay, I'm content. Now, if he does this against Penn State, I will be elated.
Oh, Heisman. Now you're talking Heisman, front runner. Right?
Correct.
You know, he had 15 touchdowns, 1 pick, and beat Penn State through 5 games. Yeah. Speaking of Taco State,
if he finishes the game 23 for 33 for 290 and 3 touchdowns and then 50 yards rushing and they win, oh, that is an electric game.
Oh, 100%. That's not going to happen, but 100%. I want to bring up something, though. You mentioned the taco thing. Remember Eddie Murphy in Raw? I don't know if you should remember that when he wore the purple.
Yes, I've seen Raw.
And he talked about if you like Ritz crackers, you know, and you normally just say, oh, that's the same old Ritz. But if you're starving, like, ooh, this is the best cracker I ever had. Anyway, exactly. But I'm with you. I'm with you on Dante. But here's the thing. I agree with you. Like, I expected him to light up the first 4 games because he lit up the first 3 as a true freshman against mediocre competition. The true test is what he's going to look like.
This competition was better than what he played in his first 3 games at UCLA
was
that year. They played like North Carolina State. And,
no. They played North Carolina Central and like Coastal Carolina or something like that. Yeah, they're not any good.
Yeah,
they played San Diego State. They played nobody. His first 3 games had 7 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Yeah.
So, you know, Northwestern might be better than those teams, but the rest, I don't know. Anyway, we agree on Dante. He's looked great. We thought he was going to look great, but now he's got to do it against Penn State, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Speaking of which, let's go to Hidden Gems, and we're going to go to where they stand.
Okay.
Hidden Gems, my hidden gem is punter James Ferguson Reynolds. You know, in a game like this, you're looking for something. That was the play of the game. His fake punt, 21 yards. So it's 4th and 4. They're at their own 35. It's 21-7. Right. So it's still a game and they're punting. Right. And so you're like, oh, okay, this could be interesting. What if Malik, you know, connects? Now it's 21-14. Right. And he gets the ball. And like Oregon State's special teams player had no concept that a QB could run, I guess. And what James said was that he has the green light in some situations that if it's wide open, take it. Lanning said they were looking for certain looks they might get. They got it. He took off for 21 yards, which led to, you know, a touchdown, which put him up 28-7. What was hilarious is he talked about, or someone asked him about the fact that he hadn't punted very much. I think going into the game, he only punted 4 times and 0 in the first game. And he's like, yeah, you know, it's kind of tough sitting there hoping that Dante throws the ball out of bounds so you get the punt, you know, which you don't really hope. You know, he's like, I don't really hope that, but you know, you kind of like to play. But I thought it was a great moment. Your hidden gem.
Yeah. Okay. It was an obvious one, but it was hidden at the same time. And this is more hidden on the season and the prediction rather than this particular game. It's Jaden Lamar.
Yeah, okay.
Because coming into, like, prior to, you know, me telling everybody that Mekhi Hughes was not going to be the starter.
Right.
Everybody expected Mekhi Hughes and Noah Whittington to dominate the carries, right? And there was talk of Lamar hitting the portal and all of this stuff. And now it clearly looks like he's the starting running back right now. We don't know what's up with Noah Whittington, but it would be hard to assume that he's going to start against Penn State after not playing the last 2 games.
Right.
Yeah. And then you've seen, you know, Jordan Davidson, Mekhi Hughes, Riggs, Hill. They're all running extremely hard. They are fighting. It is like a pack of wild dogs in the running back room. They are like, if you give it to me, coach, just give me one. Coach, just give me one. And I will run hard. I promise I will block. Dude, they are champing at the bit to be able to get on the field because you don't know how many touches you're going to get. And now you're like, I cannot mess up when I get in the game. Ball security, because if you don't, that could be the last time you touch the ball all season.
100%. Yeah, no, I'm with you on him. It's going to be interesting to see how they dole out the carries at Penn State. Now let me ask you this: do you think Hill is a future number 1 impact guy. Like, he seems to me like with his breakaway speed, he seems like a guy who we could see be at the next 1,000-yard back. I don't know. I mean, we'll see next year if Lamar takes over as a starter and Diar's number 2 or what have you. But it seems like that guy, maybe because of his breakaway speed, has the most upside on the roster.
Yes. And Jordan Davison's getting action too. This running back room looks much better than I thought it was going to be coming into the season.
Absolutely. All right. Where Oregon stands now. So they stayed at 6 in the AP poll, stayed at 5 in the coaches poll. Miami jumped up to 2, by the way. And so
I
now
got Miami as number 1. So this is
good
not
work. Good work. Okay. So I always come in to a season and I want to, you got to see what the team looks like, right? I mean, everyone does this, right? Because you may 5 stars and 4 stars and blah, 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 and all this hype, okay, that's great. You guys see them play. And so I gave through the first 4 games to sort of see where this team is. I think they're on schedule to still be good. But the other thing you want to see is what the rest of the schedule looked like. When the schedule first came out, I thought, man, that schedule looks soft. During the summer, I thought, it looks a little tougher. Right now, the schedule looks wicked. So the remaining schedule, the teams are a combined 21-4, right? And that's with Penn State at 3-0, not 4-0. So you got number 2 Penn State, you got a bye, then you got number 11 Indiana. Down the road, you got number 21 USC, which is 4-0.
Hold on, don't just gloss over at Rutgers, buddy. That's
what. I said 7. I said 7. Yeah, 7. Yeah. Okay. You think Rutgers is gonna be pretty good?
I think that Rutgers game is going to be tougher than the Wisconsin
game. Are they
game.
3-1?
I think Rutgers is undefeated right now. No, excuse me. They are 3-1. They just lost to Iowa.
Okay, so you're right. I was kind of dissing them. Okay, so the remaining schedule is 23-5. All right, so I gave you Penn State, Indiana, SC's 4-0, Iowa's 3-1, UW's 3-0, Minnesota's 2-1, Wisconsin's 2-2. They're coming. I think those are going to be not easy wins, but given wins. So I'm looking at there's at least four where I'd call losable. Doesn't mean they're gonna lose them, but I view them as potentially losable games coming up. What do you think of the schedule as it looks right now? Is it looking pretty scary? But are you still confident 10-2 is the floor?
Yes, still confident. Okay. Yeah, I got no reservations surrounding 10-2 as the floor. I just don't want either one of those two to be Penn State or USC. Oh, damn, no. Oh, God. No. Excuse me. I don't want either one to be USC or Washington. If we lose that Iowa, so be it. But I would love to knock off Penn State, and then I don't want to lose a game. I mean,
we know what you don't want, George, but we need you to be at least a little objective.
Okay, here's 10-2 is the floor, but 12-0 is not. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility. That's what I'm saying. Right. I came into the season expecting 10-2. If we beat Penn State, that goes up to 11-1 probably.
Okay,
I'm expectation.
I'm at this. Well, I think they're going to lose Saturday. I'll say it right now. I'm at 10-2 being the ceiling. I think another loss is probably going to be coming. I think 9-3 is the floor. I think that's possible. I think there's some question marks that we'll see when they face other teams. But I do think an upset's coming. Like there's going to be maybe an upset loss in there. It's just like almost Wisconsin last year. And I think they lose at Penn State, and then there might be something else. We'll see. That's where I'm at. But 10-2 ceiling, 9-3 floor. But we'll see. All right. That's why they play the games, right? All right. Let's get to our quick assessment. Very quick assessment because we'll do another pod later. We'll dive deep into this game, but your very quick assessment of Saturday and your threat level and prediction.
Threat levels 1 to 5. So give this game a 4.5.
Oh, come on. It's a flat out 5, but go ahead.
No. Actually, I'm more concerned about There are other games. I'm more concerned about the Indiana game. I would give Indiana 5 right now. They scared the hell out of me.
Because wait, you thought Illinois was going to win that game, right?
Yeah. Not only did I think Illinois was going to win, dude, that made me sometimes you see games and you're like, damn, I got to rethink this whole thing.
Right, exactly.
That's the way I felt. So I was trying not to overreact to it, but there was no way not to overreact to it because that wasn't no smoke and mirrors, trick 'em game. No, they lined up and they ran them over. That's the thing. It wasn't like, oh, they got pick sixes and then fumbled no, they just lined up and ran them over, which is highly concerning. That's the if tip, pick six, fumble, return for a touchdown, the game just gets out of hand. That is a completely different situation than what happened this last weekend with Indiana and Illinois. That's why it was scary because like for instance, USC doesn't scare me very much right now because it's a lot of like hey, look over there. We're going this way.
Right.
So it's like if you play sound and
smoke
you
and
stop
mirrors,
the run,
misdirection.
yeah, like you'll beat them because they can't just line up and just run you over. They're smoke and mirrors right now. Even though that they are a pretty good football team, I don't think that they are elite at all. And, Washington, they look good. Damon Williams is playing phenomenal. I had them in the preseason in my top 25. So they're still there. So I was ahead of the curve on them. And I don't love Penn State, to be honest. Like, I think they're okay. Like I think they're a talented football team. They're only going to go as far as Drew Aller can take them, and I don't think that he can take them to the promised land.
Okay, so you're more concerned about Indiana at home than at Penn State. All right, interesting. All right, so for me...
but I will tell people.
Mm-hmm.
If Oregon wins, just pay attention to the postgame. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're predicting some saltiness. Okay, so I have this a definite 5 with a slammer. This is, I don't know, man. I can't see Oregon pulling this out. It would be phenomenal. It would be sort of like when they went to Ohio State in 21 and won that game.
It is not like that. It is not like that.
It's not like that.
No, because Ohio State in that game, Kayvon Thibodeau did not play in that game. And Ohio State was just much more talented than Oregon at that point in time. That's not the case with Penn State. They're not a more talented team. These teams are pretty balanced. So that's the difference. And Oregon hadn't at that point in time shown an ability to go, that they could go toe to toe with the big boys. And I think that they've shown that now that they are one of the big boys. And so now, think about this, Aaron. If somebody had told you 2 years ago that Georgia, Alabama, and Penn State, Oregon would happen on the same day at the same exact time, where would you have assumed would be essentially a top 5 matchup, and where would you assume game day would have been?
Georgia, Bama, of course.
It's the opposite right now. That's the crazy part. Is I don't think that people are understanding that this is a power shift between the Big Ten and the SEC. Just the fact that this game is happening on the same day, but they're not there. That says something.
Okay. So back to why I think
big this game is.
Back to why I think Oregon's going to lose. So I don't disagree with anything you said necessarily, but you have one team which returns a lot of dudes from last year, including most of their offensive line, their top 2 running backs, which is probably one of the best back tandems in the league. This is a team that ran for 290 on Oregon in the Big Ten title game. Now, most of that defense is gone, but is that good? I don't know if that's necessarily good. We'll find out. And the defensive coordinator for Penn State, Jim Knowles, was the defensive coordinator last year for Ohio State when Ohio State came in and harassed Dylan Gabriel and locked down receivers and dominated the Rose Bowl. So the combination of returning talent, edge Penn State, the offensive line with that running game, I mean, they have 2 feature backs. I don't know if the Ducks have a feature back yet. And you have a veteran quarterback, although he can be shaky, versus a still young quarterback going into something he's never dealt with, whereas Aller at least played Oregon in the Big Ten Championship game, and then they played 3 playoff games, winning 2 and almost beating Notre Dame while averaging 200 yards plus per game on the ground. All of that to me spells Penn State victory. I've got this. My early score prediction right now is 30-20. I think, just listen, I think they're going to run the ball very well. I think Aller's going to play off of that. I think the environment is going to be too crazy for Oregon. But before anyone gets upset and freaks out, that doesn't mean that Oregon can't grow from this. Just like Ohio State did last year coming to Oregon, right? They couldn't pull out the win at Oregon. And then 3 months later, they're dominating Oregon and winning the national championship. So to me, this isn't simply Oregon's going to lose and, they're never going to contend or whatever. I'm not going there. They could lose this game because of all the things that are going against them and come out the better for it and actually truly have some film to look at and growth they can truly examine and then be much better 2-3 months later. Okay.
That is 100% fair. That is fair. That is honest. And that is, anti-Fentress-y. That's cool. Like that's fine. I think everybody can accept that.
Anti-Fentress-y. All right. So last thing, the environment. What's the craziest environment you ever played in? Because this Happy Valley, the whiteout at night, I'm told it's just gonna be. I've seen it on TV, but I just was told by the
going to be crazy.
It's gonna
be it is
insane.
going to be okay. Imagine Ohio State, Oregon, but at Happy Valley. Like that's right. Exact. Like if you were at the Ohio State Oregon game last year in Eugene, you understand that was the best environment. That was the craziest. Honestly, Aaron, I've been in a lot of football games, a lot of stadiums. That was the most insane environment that I had ever been in. The only thing I've even seen on TV that may have been crazier was like Seattle versus the Saints when the Beastquake happened. That like it was my ears were ringing the next day, Aaron, because I was standing on the field the whole game. My ears were ringing the next day. And I think that Penn State is going to be the exact same way. So at least some Oregon players have been in an environment like that, not necessarily hostile against them, but they have been in environments where it is crazy. Hell, even the Rose Bowl was loud when against, and that was a neutral site game. But Ohio State showed up and showed out. They've been in the shoe, some of them at least. So I like our chances.
Who's been in the shoe for Oregon?
Oh,
you talking about 21? No one's still around.
Oh yeah, true.
That's
true.
4 years ago.
That was that long ago.
And the team that played in the Rose Bowl last year. I mean, I guess all the backups they were still there. So you're right. Yeah. They were still there. They still experienced it. All right. We'll see. We'll see. I got Penn State. Doesn't mean the end of the world, but and look. So everything I said about why I think Penn State's going to win. If Oregon wins, I'll buy in.
You'll buy in?
I'll buy in.
So you will say the window is open if they win?
I didn't say buy in on the window. I said...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow.
You thought you had me. You thought me. Yeah. I'll buy in on them being a locked playoff team. How about that?
Okay.
I've always been like, I lean playoff. I'll buy in. Okay, if they blow them out, then I might be with you. I might be with you on winning if they blow them out. If they win 27-26 or something like that, I don't know. We'll see. All right, but we're close. We're getting close. You're getting closer. How about this? If they beat Penn State and beat Indiana, I'll buy in.
Oh, God. If they go 12-0, I'll buy in.
If they make it to the national championship game and they're up 14 in the fourth quarter, I'll buy in. If Dan Lanning's hoisting the national championship trophy, I'll buy it. All right.
The window will officially be open.
Yeah, the window will open when they're up by 20 in the fourth. All right, that's it for today's episode of the Ducks Confidential Podcast, which was brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coastal region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, George, good to see you. We'll see you later in the week, and we're going to dive deeper into this Penn State game. So bring your analyst hat, as you always do.
Yes.
All right, later.